I don't think I'll ever do another eating challenge as long as I live.
You have no idea how hard it is.
You don't even know. You don't even know.
Wait a minute.
You're an idiot.
I have done a lot of sitting in the woods.
This is not camping.
I was stressed.
That's the earliest I've ever worked out at a competition in my life.
I don't think what I did was dip a toe back in.
I don't even know what that means. No, we're rolling, but now at least we know how long.
Just
we're
add
rolling.
10 seconds to whatever, the clock says.
Okay. Rory,
Just so we're right on
you
time.
missed the last episode.
I did, but
Did you watch any of it this morning?
no, I didn't watch it this morning, but I saw the clips and it looked fantastic. And obviously I know the content. And, what was funny was Rich was there first, but then I followed up this afternoon to see if there's any more comments on Instagram. By and large, very positive, which is not your typical response
Not your
to
usually
hunting
hunt.
content.
I think we've kind of thinned the crowd, though.
Yeah.
Truth.
I think
Years of
I think
trying.
we've trimmed the fat. You know what I mean? I think people
Like a good
now
brisket
aren't shock value. There's no shock value to the hunting post anymore.
Yeah. Well, and you share so the audience was shared with Blood Origin, but at the same time, I think it's also like we were talking about before the cameras were rolling, with such a well articulated.
Oh, you can't it's hard to argue his points.
Very hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not as smart as him.
Well, and in the way, and in all, I think that there's so much of it that's like the way that it's presented, also, as opposed to like you're an idiot. You get,
yeah.
When somebody
Usually that's my go-to is you're an idiot. His is like, hey, let me articulate and make you feel like an idiot.
Here's some facts to chew on. Like, here's some stuff to ruin your thing. There was the one like, there's always a couple, right?
Yeah,
what did they say? They were like, I don't kill my animals for food. I go to the grocery store, and I'm like, dude, you did.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast.
It was a cool experience just having them here and learning. There'll be some cool kind of crossover media stuff too. They'll put out some stuff on theirs. We got a podcast with just me and him, and then some other video type stuff, it was super cool. It was fun.
Yeah. And when you zoom out, like I really like forget about the type of content they're doing. Like I love that he's really passionate about something, and it sounds like he just took a chance. He's like, yo, I'm going to create this brand.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to kind of, here's our mission.
It's a nonprofit.
Right.
That's what's cool. So, yep, really cool, fun. It's what we're in, our headspace is in currently, because it's
coming up.
Gearing up for that, yep. So Ben and Scott will be gone in 10 days? 11 days, something like that? About that. Ben's going on his first hunt ever. You never hunted anything, correct?
I've fished a few times.
Bargain hunting. That's about it.
Yeah.
Thrift store hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ben's getting like I don't want to say the easy hunt.
He's not getting the
full. He's gonna be. Oh, this is what you guys have been complaining about. Luckily, though, Ben has seen all of the other, because where we're going is there's a cabin, where we're used to staying in a metal container.
Yeah,
now
granted, the last couple of years, the metal container's been insulated, and the only drawback.
Yeah, because even people would say that what we do is not camping.
No,
but it's really close. In my opinion.
Heck yeah, and I mean, but you got like last year we had 4 dudes stumbling over each other trying to, we'd get back at 8 o'clock and try to have our dinner and our breakfast and lunch made for the next day, all in a 3-foot space. People are fighting over each other and fumbling over each other and
fighting for the bucket,
sharing the bucket. So it's this year you get to take a shower. But it'll be fun.
How do you feel about it, Ben? Like excited, genuinely?
Yeah, I camped a few times growing up, so I'm looking forward to it.
This is not camping.
No,
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the hunt.
I'm really looking forward to the bro aspect of it.
Yeah. There'll definitely be some of that. Lots of that. Yeah, so myself, Scott, Ben, and Curtis, I think Bird's going to come. We'll be hunting elk and mule deer in Colorado.
Maybe a bear.
Maybe a bear. I got to see if we can get a bear tag for that unit, an add-on bear tag. We do have some cameras up and have seen some animals around, so that's good. Angelo, you're going... Your whitetail. Angelo's going to be the whitetail specialist, I believe. That's going to be his job this fall is to kill some whitetail.
Yeah, that's not till November. We hammer out the dates. I think I'm gonna leave here November 8th and then come back the 12th.
Who's filming that, Scott?
I'm pretty sure Bird. I mean, I think it's just me,
Bird's
Bird.
gonna learn to use a camera or what?
I think he said he knows what he's doing. This was a long time ago. I don't remember the conversation. We haven't had an in-depth conversation about it.
We should maybe look into that, Scott.
How hard could it be?
It was just me, Bird, and Brian as far as I'm concerned right now.
November, what'd you say?
November
8th
8th through the 12th.
We'll be in Colorado the 11th through the 15th for a cow hunt. A week of meals delivered to your door. Lately, I've been ordering a la carte options like bison burgers, salmon, turkey burgers, potatoes, and chopped chicken. Trifecta also has prepared meal plans to choose from, like paleo, clean eating, Whole30, and keto. Get 40% off of your first order and 100% off convenience at www.trifectanutrition.com/Rich Froning. We'll figure it out. But
and that's like
that's a whitetail hunt.
so you'll be stalking, you'll be on the ground, you'll be more in the blind, kind of like tree stand type thing.
Yeah, probably more tree stand. Like I use the Cruiser saddle that we have here in Cookeville. I don't know if you know what that is.
No,
you don't.
It's like a climbing harness.
Yeah,
mixed with a.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's like a swing. Like the best way to explain it is like when you sit in a swing, it's like basically putting your butt in a swing and has a lineman belt on it. Like that's pretty much all it is. And you hook yourself to the tree and you can hang there. It's really comfortable. It's really mobile. That's like the big thing is, especially since this isn't my property or property I'd be hunting. Yeah. I can pack all that stuff up in a backpack and I can walk out to the woods and I'll be like, that's a good tree.
Wherever you want to go.
That's a good tree. I'm gonna climb it and I'm gonna So I'll probably hunt out of my saddle the most. And then I think Brian will probably have some stands set up. I think him and Bird.
It's on Brian's
property. I don't know.
Illinois.
I think he actually bought this farm. It was a lease
bought
that
the
I
farm?
think
He's not dead.
I think there's a lease that they have a cabin on. It's like 15 acres that him and a group of guys usually hunt. But then
He bought
there's another part
Yeah.
that it's a farm that I think he has now too. So we have all that to hunt.
Sweet. We're taking, so Gus has been hunting, but was in Alaska, and it was like, huff and trucking. And he did not get a deer, but because he got the second biggest turkey in that little competition, he's got a turkey hunt coming up. It's actually the same weekend as Rogue. So that's in Tennessee. So that'll be interesting. I think I told you, like, he's been out in the Alaska backcountry, and so the first time he sat in a deer stand, he was like, this is weird. This is hunting? Like, is it?
Yeah.
It's I think it's good. It's going to be different depending on the areas that you're at. Like here, it depends on how much work you put into it, I guess. If you put a bunch of work into it, the deer hunting is a lot different than going and sitting in the woods. Like I think people maybe get those two confused because I have done a lot of sitting in the woods.
Yeah.
If you like the first year I hunted, I know what I was doing. I put a tree stand up on a tree that I thought looked good in an area that maybe there's going to be deer here. Like I sat in the woods a lot of the first year. This year and even last year, like I'll have the cameras out, I'll check out cameras, and I'll put out food and
Not bait.
I mean, it
Food
is
plots,
bait,
but
but it's not. But I'm not hunting over it. They eat it all, and then I'll go hunt it once it's gone. But really, you just get them in a routine of coming there. Like I have a food plot where they're going to eat the food. Like that. That's totally legal here, anyways. I guess I don't know if it's not some other places, but yeah, you pattern them. I have shooting lanes cut out, so like it's a lot more
pre-work.
Yeah, there's a lot of work before as to where, like, what he's doing is the works. I mean, there is work before, but more of the work is during the hunt.
You got to go find them, yeah.
Yeah, instead of, I'm not just sitting in the woods anymore. I'm actually, like, it's more calculated.
Yeah, you got to understand the behavior, right? It's almost like you could throw a fishing line in the middle of a lake.
Yeah.
But if you have no idea where fish are, what fish behavior or time of day, things like that, like.
You're wasting your time.
You're wasting your time. Well, you're probably having a good time. Like maybe,
I do have a good time until it gets in like middle December. It's like 20 degrees and I haven't seen anything.
Right.
And you're just so mad. You're so cold. Your toes are gonna fall off.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm kind of branching out. Last year I went to Georgia. This year
You
I'm
guys
going
going to Georgia again this year?
Yep. You're gonna go to Georgia again in October. Sam and I are both going, and then go to Illinois in November. So
you should take the female athletes. Take Zoe and then whoever. That'll be the tryout for the team. It's not even going to be in the gym. It'll just be a hunt.
Yeah. Are
you a good fit?
That actually would be good. I think Zoe goes hunting with Sam some. I think she just sits there.
Yeah.
Madison's been hunting with me a couple times, and it's not her thing. We went Thanksgiving morning once, and it was so cold. We got out there, and she's like, "So what do we do now?" I'm like, "We wait." And she was so over it after like an hour. But yeah, well, I'm excited.
I got a buddy who he hunts elk every year in Colorado, and last year, I don't know if I told you the story, but he brings his girlfriend, and he had her out in the field, or not in the field, like out in a clearing with a decoy. And I guess the bull elk was like, basically they'd call it off, you know, because it was getting so close to her, like to the point of being dangerous. Where she had no idea what she was doing. She was just holding the horns, you know. And so they had to scare it off. So you just mentioned December, weather's getting cold, but last weekend we melted We melted our faces off.
Yeah.
We were at the BCS Classic in College Station, Texas.
I will say it's hot. Texas is very hot. But when we got back here, this humidity is miserable.
Like you're swimming.
Yes. Like once the heat and the sun got up there, it was still really hot. Like it felt like the
morning and evening were both okay though.
Yeah. Whereas here, we got off the plane and it was like 80 degrees. Granted, it had just rained a little.
Yeah.
But it felt awful.
Yeah.
I would take the drier heat than.
It was pretty dry. Like I think I was looking at the humidity. I don't think it ever got over 40% there. When we landed, it was like 75%.
Yeah, I just
hit me different.
Hate humidity. I mean, I definitely sweated a ton and lost some fluids. I mean, it's just not like.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so it's just it's different. It's just hot. You know, it was 107 degrees. I think the real feel was like 111, and then you're in those ag barns, and they're pushing
100 feet.
They're pushing air. Granted, the warm up space was all right, and then that back space was all right because the air was pushing. Yep. But in that main,
the way we were talking is like, so the stands. I was explaining to somebody at work. The stands go up, and you're like, if you're in the top row of the stands, like those the big ass fans are 10 feet, or 10 feet from the top of your head. But the way it's angled, you know, the floor is angled here, and then now the floor is at the very bottom, and the roof of the barn is all the way up. So you're at the farthest point when you're working out.
Yeah, there was no air moving in there, and all the air that would be coming through is blocked by the stands. In there was pretty rough. Granted, we only had to work out in there twice, and the one workout was just so fast that it didn't really matter.
The first one was the hardest workout for me. I don't know. You guys see them.
Zoom out first because it was your first time. Okay, how about event overall? Like
really good. I mean,
because you've never done a local comp.
I have done.
He's
never
won one. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, I've never won a local competition. I mean, I thought that was
you had never won a local competition previous to this.
Are we gonna? Are you gonna fix my grammar all day or what?
No,
he's just saying now you're a winner.
No, I'm saying now you've won.
Yeah, I have won.
I'm saying
you got the belt buckle.
Yeah. I wish that. Yeah, I hope they do a belt buckle or a gold medal or something. Are they gonna ship that to me if we talk to them? Anyways, no, it was really fun. Like I thought. I didn't really know what to expect. Like I thought it would be like, I mean, how Mustard Seed is, where it's like we have the warm up area, but like the way I think the venue's bigger, but for sure bigger, and the fact they have like all the different floors,
places,
and I mean, it was just the setup was really good. I feel like it flowed really well. There was, I don't know how it felt for the other athletes, but I felt like it was very low stress for us. Like. They would be like, hey, this is when you're going to line up. And it was pretty much you line up and
you'd go
they kind of give you a brief and you walk over there. It's not like you stand around and, you know, everyone kind of looks at each other for a while. Like, hey, can I warm up some more? Like, what are we doing? It just felt like it ran super smooth.
So everything was on time.
Everything was very on time.
Like, for me, never having been like in the games type atmosphere, like, feels very relaxed. The vibe completely different from like that kind of competition.
Yeah,
I think so.
People are like laughing, high fiving in the corrals, and
I think there were some you could tell had a little bit of nervousness on it, but I think for the most part it was
the fact that it wasn't. I think the fact that lowered it down from being so stressful was that there's no broadcast. That's what made it feel like I remember before the deadlift one that we did, the Echo Bike deadlift thing. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe there was a bike that needed to be reset.
A bike had to be switched.
And it like, no big deal. Everyone's just kind of like, all right, you know, whatever. We can wait 60 more seconds. They get another bike. Like it was no big deal. Yep. So like that, I like that it ran super smooth. But then if there was a problem, it wasn't a panic if we had to fix that problem.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Charlie and that whole team down there does an incredible job of like, you know what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, it flows really well. It's on time. You know, I think the workouts were incredible. I think whoever programmed those did a really good job.
I was about to say that.
with some notable exceptions.
Notable exceptions, yeah. Some things that got lost in translation. But, you know, and now that we know kind of the run of the show over the last couple of years, we can make some necessary changes if we're going to stay at the same venue. So we'd love to figure out a way to partner with them again next year.
Not to detract
and
from.
Raised a ton of money for charity.
Raised a ton of money, which is awesome. Yeah, and actually, I don't know if it's published anywhere, but Charlie's story about like his actually using Ronald McDonald House,
having to use it with their youngest son, and just how it impacted their family, and then him giving back to Ronald McDonald House is pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. Like it hits every time.
And
I hear it.
Mayhem
I'm
Mission,
like, man,
they've helped us
crazy.
with Mayhem Mission a ton.
Hugely.
Too.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest contributions on a yearly basis. Well, especially this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. He bought some GoRuck shorts, used my code, so he helped me out too.
We'll just slip that
Angelo,
in there.
the Chico Foundation.
Charity, use my code.
Yeah.
Use my code. It actually hit me in the face too when he said, so I've done it 3-4 years. You've done it 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, but he says a 13-year running event.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's awesome for me to see you guys in what is otherwise like, there's some really good athletes there, like who have potential for higher level of competition, but like more or less it's like a local comp.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
to see you guys in that atmosphere is always like, it makes you smile.
Well, yeah, it's just a little bit more fun, more laid back, jokingly chippy in the back.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
I was stressed.
Were you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because you were his partner?
Yeah, mostly that, and mostly I think it was more the fact that I didn't know where my fitness level was from after the games because I haven't really done much.
I didn't know where my fitness level was either because I'd just been biking, So we had and that was the rule that we kind of stood by was we wrote the workouts, but we didn't test the workouts until they were announced because I didn't want to have that, like, even if people want to say we had a competitive advantage.
I think,
we didn't really because I was like, hey, hard stop. As soon as they're announced, then we can start practicing them. But before that, honestly, a couple of them I'd like done and then was like, oh, this would be a cool competition. Where actually only the bench deadlift or bench toes to bar, which wasn't the way the workout got programmed because, and rightfully so, having two judges would have been really hard. But it was
actually, if we go through the workouts, I want to also, then you tell people like the versions you did to practice, because that blew my mind as well. Like you guys definitely did harder versions.
We can start with the first one was
yeah.
basically a 12-minute clock. One person starts at 30 bar muscle ups. One person has to do 30 clean and jerks. When you're both finished, you flip-flop movements, 30, 30. When you're both done, you do max wall balls in the remaining time. The wall balls were surprisingly very difficult.
Horrible.
I was thinking, we're like, we'll do 20s. And then I think I did a set of 10 because I had a short rest. And I was like, there you go, Angelo. So we did 15s after that for the rest of the way.
Yeah, because you asked me, you go, how many should we do? And you go, how many are you going to do? And I think you thought I was going to do 10. But I said, I'm okay. And that's all I got out. Yeah. And I said, and then it's like I was at 13. I was like, I'm going to do 15. And then after that, it was 15.
15s. And there was no need. But it was surprisingly like quaddy and shoulder. Honestly, it was the last 5 reps every time my shoulders would get lit up. Because on the bar muscle ups, I went 22 and 8. I probably could have done 30, but I knew the clean and jerks were going to get hard. And so then I was just doing singles on the clean and jerks and watching the mouth of you weren't falling apart, but I was just because doing 30 clean and jerks into 30 bar muscle ups is infinitely harder than
I don't know.
But then me starting on the bar muscle ups. I mean, they're still equally hard however you do it. But what I'm saying is like I'm a better cycler on barbells. You're a better, or we're probably equal on bar muscle ups.
Maybe.
And so it made sense for me to do the barbell second. But I got to like 20. And I'm like, where's he at? And trying to, decide how hard I wanted to push those last 10. And so I took my time on the last 10 just because it's like I said, having to do the 30 bar muscle up second is harder.
Yeah.
And really part of the reason we did that too is because how much I sweat. I was going to sweat so much that I probably wouldn't even be able to hang on to the pull-up bar.
And all of these workouts.
What was your experience on
all of these workouts, by the way, like if you're not cut from the same cloth as these two, I think they'd be great for gyms. Like they were really challenging and really fun. I guess I could fast forward all the way to the end of the weekend. And the funny thing for me and AJ is like our soreness was not our legs because we just didn't have the opportunity to do wall balls. We did 150 less wall balls than you, I think.
On Sunday and Monday, so Sunday and yesterday, my legs were so sore because I just have not done that volume of CrossFit or squatting, but I've been riding a ton.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
not hitting below.
I'd rather ride another 100 miles than go through this soreness of 2 days,
It was aggressive. Yeah. So but my experience was, in the grand scheme, I kind of go into these with the wrong attitude, but it's like, just don't embarrass yourself, just don't embarrass yourself. So we finished all the workouts and actually we finished middle of the pack. So we dropped 5 spots from 17th to 22nd overall. And this was our worst one by far.
This one?
Yeah.
First one was your worst one?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun one. I liked it. I thought it was that was pretty good.
Yeah, I
I
thought
don't know
any.
because I always like sit back and look at them and like how would I change it, but I think it was about perfect. I think with a 30-pound med ball, it would have been.
I think it could have been fine with a 30. Yeah, I think you would have lost a little bit of stimulus, but I think it would have been it just would have been different because you would have had to. There's like we wouldn't have been able to just keep going with the wall ball.
I think it was pretty good. The only thing I didn't love is like once you got to the wall balls for the top teams, it was a race to the wall balls, which technically I guess that's what it should have been.
Yeah,
you know. As long as you were competent at wall balls, like it should have been the race to the wall balls.
Actually, I think it was fine.
It showed a very broad capacity, you know, and I think like, again, if like, since it is a wider competition, like you guys definitely showcased like what's possible, but I think, it was a really cool test for the rest of the teams watching like kind of how they spread out. Yeah. And then there was a race at the wall ball even, you know, like who could keep on going. I think it
could have been cool at ring. And 155 would have been a completely different test. And then maybe like a 25-pound wall ball. You know, like just enough to just.
We would have done much.
I know, but still, I think it would have been a little, obviously would have changed it a lot.
A lot.
But I thought it was, I mean, I wasn't waiting on you and you weren't waiting on me for very long on either one of those movements. So
I think, I
had a little bit of. Like,
when I watched, I think I had
the fresh 30 bar muscle-ups were way easier, you know? And so.
This was one of a few times where I just looked at AJ mid-workout and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I knew he was about to like be breathing down my neck, and I just hopped up, and my grip was going.
I saw you had 4. Yeah, you had 4.
That's when you dropped
2
the bar.
left, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna take my sweet time to get these last 2. You know.
Yeah. It was definitely the hardest race that I've ever done in my life.
Well, that, and then you know, you're in an ag pavilion, and they've packed it down, which is really good, and it's hitting divots and turning and whatever, but also like, you know, they're like, oh, don't drop from the top. And then you look around, everybody's dropping from the top, which they should have been able to drop from the top. Like, don't put a stipulation on there that you have to do touch and go. I hate when they do that. But it was, I mean,
when I was trying to follow those rules, like what it turned into is, I hope there's video content of it somewhere because I haven't seen it, but I was trying to like lower it down to my chest and then drop it.
And it just looks like terrible
so bad. Weight just crashing down.
Yeah, I would like I would like let it come down, just let it get ripped out of my hands here, then go for another one.
I would pitch it and follow it down and pick it up and go. But yeah, I liked that workout. I thought it was pretty good.
That one was good.
The next morning, that's the earliest I've ever worked out at a competition in my life.
Oh, and the last one, that was when the heat, like, I thought I was done. Like for the weekend, I was like, oh, I can't.
I thought I had strep throat.
Well, that first one, when it was just like, it was the
that one,
first like introduction to.
We'd gotten off the plane.
True.
A little car sick, laid in the camper for a little bit, and then just went straight to Texas heat. So yeah, that was real dry mouth. It was hot.
Oh,
I mean,
bad.
It was just hot.
My throat was so dry after that.
This one was fun, and it was 7:30 in the morning. Yeah. Earliest I've ever worked out at a competition. You know,
and the only one that
we did in AC. And the only one in the AC at the coolest part of the day.
The shortest one.
The shortest one, you know, just using different venues. It was, I mean, it needed to be in the inside anyway, but still we were kind of like, Rory's like, well, at least it's inside. I'm like, yeah, at the coolest part of the day. He's like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. So yeah, this one hurt. This one hurt really way worse than I anticipated. You know, you have to push that bike hard, but not, you know,
it wasn't as hard. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to have to be.
No, and then the deadlift, 15 was at 315. You're like, ooh, this is not a pleasant.
Second set of 15 was hard.
Even that first set, once you like after the 20 calories, you get to 12. You're like,
my
12,
hamstrings,
13,
my butt's
14,
burning.
Yep. And then the handstand walk, I was surprisingly gassed and like not panic breathing, but like, oh no, like I got to think about, you know, stabilizing and all that. So
I started to panic when I finished. And you finished the bike, I started to panic. I go, dude, I'm going again really soon.
I could kind of see, you know, where everybody was at this point. So I'm like, all right, how hard do I have to push?
Yeah.
And, you were, I think, 25 feet ahead of them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to get to at least 50 or 75. I think we were 50, and I think 50 or 75. Yeah. And then that second one really hurt. Luckily, the handstand walk was first, but you could kind of breathe on that one.
Yeah, you're not using your legs at least.
Dude, 12, 13, 14, 15 on the deadlift was hard, and then the bike was not a pleasant experience.
Well, in a different situation, like I don't have that game time awareness. So me and AJ thought we were racing with the guys next to us. It turns out they were way behind. But we didn't know that, you know? So I lost complete awareness of everything, and so I see just the dudes on the deadlift, and I'm on the deadlift, and I was like, oh no!
Oh,
so we tried to hammer down.
That's probably what you needed to
And
do.
you
though.
go to the
did,
bike,
yeah,
and he goes, the handstand walk. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I'm a whole right ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, fine. And I'm on the bike, and I'm like, well, don't let up, don't let up.
I was honestly surprised that some people didn't come out hotter. There was a couple
Yeah.
guys that beat you off the bike.
Couple guys, and then
Not by much, though.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was expecting, and you caught them and passed them,
Yeah.
which I was 1,000% expecting, but not as much as I thought. I thought some
Yeah.
people were going to just like go 1,000 watts full
Yeah.
dummy and crash and burn, but I didn't notice that. I just noticed the one guy I think next to
the
us.
one guy next to me,
He was about probably 4 or 5 seconds ahead.
I
tops.
noticed that, and then I noticed I think he did
Never
5
saw
on the
him.
deadlift.
Yeah, never saw him again.
And then I was like, okay, good, thank God.
It was also deceiving to go in that first heat because that heat was comprised of people who raised the most money,
Yeah.
Okay.
right? And so later, me and AJ were like, we're slapping 5. We thought we were champions, and then later on, the scores keep rolling in.
Well, I had to make that comment to Angelo on the wall ball one. I was like, hey, we're ahead of them, but we can't let up because we're in the first heat, which
Right.
I
is,
had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
yeah, so that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, because those guys came with me afterwards too, and they go, man, and that was the first heat. I go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. First
I tried to
heat?
mumble
Yeah.
that to you at one point. You never heard me, so.
I'm like, wait a minute. First heat? What are you talking about? There's more?
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting separator though, like that one and the toaster bar. Like it seemed like the high volume gymnastics, particularly at this event.
So the next one was 10 rounds of 10
We lost the
dumbbell
monitor
bench.
for what it's worth.
Just keeps, it keeps dying. The TV keeps dying.
Oh.
But 10 dumbbell bench press and 10 toes to bar.
Rest weight
And it was
partner.
supposed to be flip-flop movements. And, I'm an idiot and thought, oh, we'd have plenty of volunteers and judges, which I didn't realize we had 3 workouts going on at the same
Right.
time. So
Yeah.
rightfully so, Charlie changed it. But this was just literally for us, for top teams, all about transition time and speed of reps, which
Yeah.
for me is super stressful because we're so
Yeah.
me and him are both like the most calculated probably movers, where this workout in itself, if it was just 10 rounds straight through, we're probably the 2 best
Yeah.
ones at it. But the way it was, I was like, oh no, we're going to have to let go.
Hammer
And then
down,
of
yeah.
course, Angelo hits his last rep and his feet came up a second before to sit up, and she blasted him. She got him, which was, good. Hey, local competitions get crap for not
Yeah.
having, solid
Good
judging.
judging,
She
for
was on
sure.
it.
She got me.
And so Angelo sits up, sets his dumbbells down, and goes to get up
And
as she's like, no rep. So he has to sit back up. So they got a whole, they were like 9 reps.
at
They were like
least 6 or
9 reps,
7,
I think,
something, yeah.
before we got up there.
We were in 16th place out of 20 teams off the first round.
Yeah, I was like, and so then me and Angelo are just full panic dummy mode. And I think we end up catching them in like round 6
Yeah.
or 7 or
And
something like
those
that.
guys wanted nothing more than just
Just
if they
one
beat you in
workout.
one
One workout.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part, but also the stressful part. Because you get a workout like that that's all about rep, speed of rep and transition, and you make a mistake and it costs you, and you'd never live it down.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
bad part about going
There's
and
no
doing
winning.
local competitions. Like, you're supposed to win.
yes.
And if you don't,
yeah.
then so
It's
And
like
you got a little wrapped up with.
I got a little trash talked at like Fresh Coast. Somebody at Fresh Coast was like, "Oh, like I'm taking this to my grave that we beat you," and I'm just like,
let them have it.
Man,
Let them
come
have
on,
it.
man.
There's no winning. I remember this. I heard someone say this or saw something. It was when, this is neither here nor there, kind of, Jake Paul was just getting up where he was trying to fight like big boxers, and he called out Conor McGregor. And like, this is when Conor is more so at his peak. Like, dude, he's not going to fight you because, one, if he wins, everyone's going to be like, oh, you just beat up some YouTuber.
Yep.
And if he loses, then it's going to be like, oh, some YouTuber beat you up. There's no winning.
There's
And
no
he doesn't.
winning.
And he doesn't need the payday.
And exactly. And so we were like, yeah, for us, it's very, a smaller scale, but like we have to go there and go really hard to make sure we win. And we did go pretty hard on
Yeah.
most of the events. Like
Yeah.
we were selling out. At least I was. I was selling out on some of them. I was like, gosh, I wish there was more of a gap.
That was fun though, because it was like pump session kind of.
Yeah, that workout
it was
was
just
fun.
like
It was fun.
I knew Ro was in the pain cave. I've told him this, so I'll say it in public. When I could tell, one, you were doing singles, and you can always tell when somebody's hurting on toes to bar was when that head goes straight back.
Yeah.
Rory, every rep is looking at the ceiling. I'm like, oh no, Rory's hurting.
Like a Pez dispenser.
By the 5th round, I was still unbroken on toes to bar and feeling decent, but then I had that little twinge in the back of my head, like, nah, that's not going to work for very long.
Not good.
And we were not too far behind. So like the leaders, you guys would be like going back to toes to bar while we were going to bench. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not like way far behind, and that's probably not a good thing. And then round 6, just the wheels came off completely.
But yeah, it was that was a fun one. I thought it was cool to just get out there, and it was, it wasn't, that was in the main pavilion, and it got hot towards the end, but it was
like 10:30. It didn't seem, it got hot, but it wasn't too bad.
And then the last one was the one I was dreading the whole time.
Yeah, I was too.
There were 2 more, right?
No, that was it.
No, 3 on that.
Oh yeah, 4 total.
Yeah, so then the final was 4 sets, 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, 100 double under buy-in, 10 overhead squats at 155. Those 2 movements had to be synchro. That was another lost in translation. It actually, honestly, with 2 people, double unders, if you practice them a little bit, like us, literally you just get one started and you go. Yeah. I feel like we were pretty on.
Yeah.
And then
you tripped once, I tripped twice, and that was the only reason we had to stop.
Yeah, and so honestly, it was pretty good. So it was 100 synchro double unders, 10 synchro overhead squats at 155, and then max burpee box jump overs in the remaining minute. That was just 90 seconds basically.
We got there the first 2 or 3 sets. We were getting there with over 90 seconds. In the last set, I dialed back. I had to. I was dying, and we had a little bit of a lead, and so we just kind of mailed it in.
I'm glad we mailed that one in. The only thing, like I said, when I look back at some of these, I would change that one to like a set number of burpee box jump overs you had to get to finish, because it's not, we always say that having an AMRAP in a competition isn't quite
But the last
fair.
event is perfect. Is the perfect time to do it.
I would say 2 judges for the double unders.
Yeah, but it was too hard. Yeah,
you
and AJ,
dude, my cycle rate's really fast with that rope that I use, and so after the first round,
maybe you guys should have practiced these together. It's almost like you guys see each other every single day at the gym.
Not wrong. Look, it's not their fault. It's no one's fault but mine, and you hear like, again, I think that anybody who is a fan of the sport should do a local competition, like whether it's scaled or whatever, a well-run one. Because it's an amazing experience, right? And you learn a ton, like little stuff like I've never used grips on a deadlift to big stuff like this where it's like, oh, you're in the middle of round 2 where you're like, oh, there's no time machine to go back and practice these, and we are so screwed.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience for that reason. But yeah, like my cycle rate was so much faster. So I probably did 130 double unders on the first round because he was counting AJ's. And I was like, hey man, I'm going like way faster than him. And the judge was like, yeah. I was like, so
you're just going to double under the whole time AJ's going to double under.
Yeah. He was like, I'm counting his. And then at least we got the 3rd round, we fell apart, but we still got 1 burpee. And so we never had any rounds where we totally punked out. Where if you look at the leaderboard, there's probably like 7 teams that didn't get a burpee.
A burpee.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, wow.
At all?
In our at all.
Or they got like 4 total. Like,
oh, dang.
Yeah.
No, I thought those workouts were good. And I think people maybe, I actually don't read all the comments sometimes, but I think people get mad at us for how critical we are to other workouts like semifinals or the games or whatever. We were pretty critical on workouts that we came up with.
Yeah, like I said.
Like we would do it and we're like, man, we should have done this instead.
Which I think is fun. I enjoy that. We enjoyed that, being around it for so long. And I'm like, all right, how could I fix that? What
like if we would have done, I think what you said, if we did 15 overhead squats at 135.
15 at 135 and then
it would have been
to 60 burpees or something like that. Because then there's like there's a risk reward. It's like, do I push this first 2 or 3 sets so I don't have to do that 4th set? Just little things like that. You want to, like, as a competitor, you're kind of like, all right, you want a little bit of like, I don't want to just with 90. It's like that lunge one we did at Syndicate a couple years ago. It was just like max lunge.
Once you get and if you get a little bit of a lead,
if you get a lead, it's just you. But that one was hard because you couldn't
tell where the
lead was, and then thinking about it from a fan's perspective, if we want people to watch this. Then, hey, we got to be able to, like we say, tell a story. And so how do we tell a story? So now it's like my brain will start thinking about that. Now that if Charlie's going to do the same venue and all that type of stuff. And then the big thing was we were like, hey, let's move it to October because the weather's way more pleasant. So
and he actually had a good idea putting it on A&M's bye week where like they're not competing with A&M at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
But then we're competing with elk season, and so, it's just tough.
Yeah.
What should you be eating to reach your goals? The experts at RP Strength have it down to a science. Answer a few questions about your goals, activity level, and lifestyle, and the RP Diet app takes care of the rest. Get a year of nutrition help from RP Strength and RP Diet app for only $89.99 at www.rp.app/code/Froning.
But congratulations. It was your first win.
Thank you. I got something for my win.
Hey,
That's what was in your pocket.
Great taste, less filling.
The mountain's blue.
Mountain's blue. Still from your pocket.
Yep.
How old is that one though? Is that out of the
it's
fridge?
In date. It's in date. I checked.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sits out we got the barn fridge with just a bunch of random stuff in there, and you just never know what's in there.
The other day we were
I think it'd be from 2012.
the other day we were shooting. We were out here shooting bows,
and it was 95 degrees.
I didn't want
sweating.
It's like 6 o'clock. I didn't want a Red Bull, which I have that too. But I was like, this is the only thing in there that didn't have caffeine.
Opposite effect.
And I was like, perfect. I just hammered it. I was so thirsty.
Did you get a light buzz from losing all that sweat too?
No, not even close. I was just so thirsty. I hammered it and I didn't feel anything.
You ever done the beer mile?
No way.
I'd love to see you do it.
I was just talking to that Eddie Ift. You know Eddie Ift?
Yeah.
I was on his podcast yesterday.
Oh, no way.
And he was talking about he took his buddy wanted to do it, so they did it. They had to like hide in the woods at their high school to like drink the beer and then run around. But then he said Hunter McIntyre tried it. He said Hunter ran like his first lap was like 50-something seconds with the beer. And so Eddie's like, oh, Hunter's going to break the record. He said he puked in the second corner. It was just like done. So
the
world
record,
it's it's sub 5.
Well,
it's in the 4 minutes. Yeah,
and
it has to be with a bottle.
There's like within you can run while drinking or kind of move forward.
Almost like the baton pass. Like
there's a area where you can
NASCAR restart zone.
It's incredible because it's with a bottle and it is it's on a track. It's incredible. I watched the video. It's nuts because most people do it with like a solo cup where you can chug real easy.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was gonna do it with a bottle. When I saw him pick up a bottle and do it, I was like, whoa, this is the next level cool.
So this is
those are two amazing capacities that mix together. You're like, wow.
Yeah. This makes me think of our fantasy football league, the one that I've been in for 7 or 8 years. The punishment, we always have a punishment, and that's where the Waffle House thing came in. So we were trying to decide a punishment this year. And so this year the punishment is whoever gets last has to be the chauffeur/DD for all the wives to go out.
Ooh.
How miserable does that sound?
Ooh.
Oh gosh.
That was beer mile was one of our punishments one year.
Yeah.
I did that, but that one I would rather do that.
So
I saw one of those. It was a guy doing the Waffle House challenge and he was sitting there and like it was on TikTok and the comments, because he ate like 4 or 5 waffles and he was like stuffed, and you guys know, like it's not, you hit a wall. He was, and there's all these comments are like saying,
I don't think I'll ever do another eating challenge as long as I live. At least physical challenges, when you're done, you're like, I accomplished something. Yeah. That eating challenge, I'm just like I'm just a fat slob.
You don't really want to hit your chest on that one.
No.
Well, hey, we can.
Amen.
What did you got second, right, to Luke?
I think I tied for second. Like Tyler was right there with me.
And then I was right behind you guys.
Not me. I got
tired. It was just the 4 of us, wasn't it?
You and Tyler. Everybody else DNF'd.
The Diet Coke, man. The Diet Coke.
The Diet Coke was a cheat code for sure. And when when enough people left and they started making fresh waffles again, that was a game changer too. Yeah,
because they knew we were coming. They had all these cold waffles that was waiting for us.
Soggy, nasty. Yeah, it was awful.
Anyways, the comments were like, "Oh, I could do 12 or 16 easy," and I commented back like, I got angry. I was like, "You have no idea how hard it is. Like,
you don't even know.
You don't
even know."
Because people are just commenting. They go, "Oh, this would be so easy. I could be out of there in a few hours. I would eat like 16 and leave." I'm like, "No, you wouldn't. Yeah. You would explode."
That's the attitude I went in with too, though. You know,
what did we do to start? It was like one every
20 or 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be 1 an hour and just 12
like hours.
12 hours.
I think Luke had 16. I think we had 15. I think that's what it was.
And that was just a real
15 was a
dark night of the soul at that point.
Yeah.
Really questioning your why at that point.
I questioned my why. We had schoolwork to do. I was like, this is not worth the.
I believe it was 8,900 calories and 15 waffles. I think I did the macros. It was like, it was nuts. We had to train with Rich the next day.
How long afterwards until you went back to Waffle House?
You went back.
I came back.
You came back that night.
I had eggs and bacon. I had another waffle actually. I think I technically had 9 waffles.
Yeah. I actually craved it like within a week. I was like,
not bad.
Sounds like
it wasn't. No, it didn't ruin it for me. Yeah. I was fine.
Yeah, I'd go there right now.
I
did that for
played.
Violet's birthday. I was like, hey, anywhere you want to go for lunch.
And that was it. Waffle House.
She wanted to go to Waffle House.
Nice.
Like, my girl.
One of the worst punishments I heard of was just a coast-to-coast flight, and as soon as you get to the airport, you just turn around and take a flight back. I know you would hate that. That was like Rich's worst nightmare.
That's awful.
It's the longest distance you could travel from where your point of origin, and then stay in the airport, get back on a plane, and come back.
I would hate that. Actually, I think what would be better is you have to have like a 12-hour layover wherever you're at. You have to be
Like in Rome with kids.
You have to have like a 12-hour layover.
Did you guys hear about this commercial flight that they're testing, or this plane that they're testing? Hold on.
Are you talking about
I don't want to mess it up. So NASA and Boeing are working on a Mach 4 passenger aircraft.
I'd do it in a heartbeat. Didn't they used to have one like the Concorde?
Yeah, well, Concorde was, I think, just Mach 1, I thought.
How? What are the G's
faster,
on that?
obviously, but you could fly. It's 4, right? Isn't that what Mach is?
I have no clue.
I thought the Mach. No, I guess that's the sound of or speed of sound.
Mach 10, right? Speed of sound.
Mach 1 is speed of sound. So each time, I think. Anyway.
Whatever. I don't know any of this.
So NASA is working on this plane. So Mach 1 is the speed of sound. So 4 times the speed of sound.
Holy crap.
Anyway.
Dude, that's
this
so
plane
fast.
would do New York to London in 90 minutes.
Wow.
Dude.
What a game changer.
Game changer. So I don't know. I don't know how
I do
like,
want to know
close
the
that's
G's
about
on
to
that.
happen, but yeah.
We were talking about this at work. This is a good question for you guys. You're business guys. Explain this to me. I have a round trip flight to Michigan for $159 even. The flight back, the flight there was $110. The flight back
It's $49.
$48. How can they, I can't drive there and back for $150. It's 500 to where I'm going is like 560 miles or something. To get there and back, to fill my car up, I filled it up the other morning, it was $70. And it goes about 400 miles. So I can't go there and back. It's cheaper for me to fly. How? How can that be right? How are they making money?
I doubt that they are. Like the flight that we were on coming home from Texas
didn't make any money on that.
Did not make money.
No way.
So they might. I mean, certainly they've got a way to like spread the wealth over like all the flights they do in a day. But I mean, the only thing you say with that, with like flights for sure, is like supply and demand.
Yeah. I think so. I had a good theory on why our flight, like they didn't cancel it, is because I think since it was the last flight of the day, I bet they just needed that plane in Nashville for the next flights the next day, so they had to do it.
They got crew that's got to get home.
Mm-hmm. They had to do it that way. And then I think I've heard this. I don't know if this is true. They're more worried about the cargo that they're carrying. Like
why did you ask us this question if you already have the answers to this question?
Sorry,
that's why he asked.
I didn't know I had the answers.
It's like when they overbook flights. You're like, how's that legal?
How can you do
how's
that?
that legal?
Sometimes it's nice though. If you have nowhere to go, you can make a bunch of money.
Hillary with United. No, I don't want to bash who it was. It was American.
United's effed me a few times.
She was 18 minutes early to the gate. They closed the gate and she sent me a picture and it was timestamped 18 minutes before the time it's supposed to leave, and they would not let her on that flight when we were on our way to Leadville. Oh, dude, it was
probably cool with it though, right?
Nightmare. Yeah, she loved it. So then she had to fly United there, or no, they got her on a different flight later. They were going to book her the next morning. It was the biggest. It was such a headache. I wanted to.
Yeah, travel's a massive headache. Man.
Actually, it was United.
Makes you want to buy a private jet.
American canceled her flight because she didn't get on that flight because they canceled the flight and moved it to Saturday, which was no good for Leadville.
Right.
So I made sure that she still had that. It was a nightmare. United and American are on my list of like purge companies.
I've had many, man. I used to live in airports. Like when I was doing just a seminar thing.
I couldn't imagine airports.
But I would always do that, like because I had nowhere to be. I would always take the voucher.
Yeah.
So whenever they'd ask for volunteers, I'd let them bid it up a little bit, and then I'd be like, I got you.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
The Australians said they made a lot of money. They were in LAX. This was last year, LAX, and they were going home. I think Chrissy said she may have made like $2,000 because no one would take it. And so she's like, whatever, I'll take it. And she made $2,000, I think.
That's a good day.
Yeah, it's a freaking good day. I've done it for $500 before. Yeah. I should have let it run up, but $500 is pretty good.
I'd pay $500 to go home.
Yeah, seriously.
What if you're not even going home? What if you're going somewhere and it's like
with my kids?
Oh yeah, okay, no, that's different story.
Yeah. If I didn't have kids or anything, yeah, absolutely. But no,
Dude,
I'm
I'll
like,
sit in the
I'll get
airport. I think I told you guys this. I'll sit in the
sounds
airport for $10.
home.
I hate it. I hate it, but I mean, what do I have to do? I don't have anything going on. I'm already on vacation. I'm going somewhere. Screw it. I'll sit in the airport.
I'm with you.
No, I'm not.
But yeah, with kids, no
I'd
way.
lose my mind.
Not with kids.
With kids, no way.
No way.
With kids and then getting home to kids, you're like, man, I'd rather be home. I'll pay an extra couple $100.
For sure. I was interested to ask you, like BCS is just one thing, but like it wasn't too long ago. I feel like where you had
CrossFit Games.
Well, the CrossFit Games 2 years ago.
Oh,
or when was it? Because there was not too long ago that you were like done with CrossFit, and then you just sort of like dipped a toe back in, and you're like, wait, I'm still good. I
don't think what I did was dip a toe back in. What do you want to know?
full hair on fire.
I don't know. Like, are you fully fired back up? Like, I mean,
he's competing again next year.
For people that don't know, it's like what you tell.
You know what happened?
Talk about that time. You hurt yourself.
19?
18.
And Angela's like, I quit. I'm retired. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Nope. Doctor says I can never do
18,
CrossFit again.
18,
Ever again.
18, I got
burnout.
Yes, burnout and some bad, not bad advice. I've said this before that I was young for sure and very impressionable, and that played a huge role in it. To where like,
what did I say when all that happened?
I don't remember.
Get a second opinion.
Don't be a
Yeah. So I was very impressionable, and I wouldn't say burnout, but I would say more stressed about the level of competition I was going into. So the first thing is the doctor told me, like literally what he said, like, dude, you're not going to be able to lift. Like you need to stop doing this. And
a local doctor? I don't know.
It was
it was like a specialist in Nashville or something.
And I was like, oh,
like nerve stuff too, right?
Yeah. So looking back, I think I had two. I had one herniated disc and one bulging disc at the time. That's what was causing my back issues. He also said I had degenerative disc disease, which a lot of people have. I think almost everybody has it at some level. And I thought that was what my issue was. And the way he made it sound is basically, this isn't going to get better. It's only going to get worse, and you're going to speed it up. And so I was like, well, dude, I want to walk for the rest of my life. So knowing what I know now, having a herniated disc and bulging disc is much more aggressive than those degenerative discs. So I was having a ton of back pain because I had that L4, L5, I think was herniated. And that's why my back hurt all the time. It wasn't because my discs were degenerating. And then and then I was more nervous as well because I knew that there was no like just real pushing through that for me, at least that season definitely, because of how much pain I was in and because I knew that I still need to step up a pretty good bit to be able to be competitive. So yeah, some bad advice and some doubt, I guess.
Yeah.
Those
and then
two.
you let that ride for like 2 years, right? More or less. You went off, you did firefighting.
Yeah. I think
you're training casually-ish.
Yeah, I would say casually. A lot of
here's the way that I understand the story.
Yeah.
It was like, was it maybe 21 or 22, where you're like, I'll help these guys train for the games.
Yeah,
and then you qualify for semis.
No, I made you do something.
You wanted another alternate for your team.
For our team. So I was like, Angela, I need you to put your open scores in.
And I was
needed an alternate.
My open score was horrible.
But,
I was like, all right, cool.
But we just needed him to put scores in because that's the way.
Body.
Yep. And so he qualified for semifinals.
Yeah.
So then he was back in and full bite.
And so when I say dip a toe, like you went to semis that year.
Yeah.
And you surprised yourself?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on Friday, I was just like having fun.
10th?
7th. I was just like, I was just going to have some fun. And so like on I remember on Friday night, Friday night, it was the snatch event and there was like a ski chest to bar workout. And I remember I was just like, I snatched 280. I had done that before, but I was like, I'm just going to like see what I can put up on snatch. And just took a shot in the dark, hit 280 again. I was like, wow, that's cool. And then that night, I remember this was the most vivid thing I remember the weekend, is there were two guys in lanes next to me, and they were just like selling out for this workout. And I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I don't care. I just want to do like good in this competition. Now, like, I look over their monitors on the ski. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so I didn't go that hard. and then the next day I just had a real like a softball right down the middle and smacked it out of the park. And then I was in I think I was in 5th going into Sunday. I was like, I should have tried harder on Friday. and I don't. Nothing may have happened. Maybe not. But then the last workout was just
a dumbbell snatch workout.
Yeah,
I was watching you.
I'm not great at that. And Zach Watts, who qualified above me, is strong, and he moved the dumbbell really well. And since then, my dumbbell snatch has gotten a lot better. But Yeah, that's basically what happened that year. And then I remember Ben asking me, it was either Ben or Scott, they asked me to go, so are you going to, if you qualify for the games, you're going to go? And then they go, if you don't, are you going to do the last chance? And I was like, no way. I'm done. I'm done after this. And then I did the last chance. And yeah.
It doesn't seem like you look back, though. Like, now you seem like all in.
Yeah, I think 21 was a good year to get back into it because, like, the way I got back into it, I guess, is what helped me. Is that, like, I got back in, there was, like, no stress. I'm like, oh, cool, I just made it to the next level. I made it to the next level, and then I made it to the last chance, and it was just, like, there was no stress to it. I was just doing it because I still had, like, a lot of fitness, and I wanted to train, and
we got good groups. And
in the time off, like, the time that I wasn't training, I had a full-time job that allowed me to train, so it's, like, you know, it's a lot easier now, and I was more, for sure, I was more mature, as in, like, knowing how to be an athlete. Like, you know, back in the day, I would do normal kid stuff at the end of the night. I would play video games till 2 in the morning, and then I would wake up whenever I wanted to. I wouldn't track my food. I wouldn't do anything. Like, I wouldn't do anything. Yeah. I would just work out. And so I just took it more seriously. Yeah. And I had fun taking it seriously. So, and I still do. So that's kind of how it just worked out for me. Like, it was fun.
Love it. Fun to watch.
There's my story.
No,
really cool comeback story.
I mean, I've seen the entire evolution of Angelo.
Yeah.
you know, from 13-year-old kid to what he is now. But yeah, I mean, I remember sitting in the back. I remember sitting in the
meeting room. Yeah,
the meeting room, and Angelo's like,
was a meeting room.
Angelo's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you're done? Because we'd brought in Kristen Miller to be on a team, and then Darren's like, well, if Angelo's done, I'm done too.
Wait a minute.
Like, Darren just looking for a reason. He's like, yeah, me too. And so, you know, Ted was the alternate, and Ted, I'm like, yeah, Darren, you like, these girls moved here, and Ellie, you know, because that was the year it went from 6.
Yep, to 4.
So Darren was like, I'll be a team with Ellie, and if we can find another girl, and Angelo was in, and then all of a sudden Angelo's out, and then Darren's like, I'm out. And so then he's like, Darren is full on okay with the girls going individual, and neither one of them wanted to go individual, and so
he's like, I think they could just try their hand in.
Yeah, they're
like,
fine.
Oh, both of them are good.
Darren was just looking for somebody to be like, hey, you don't have to do this, and so it was so good. And then, you know, Angelo, I'm like, Angelo, get a second opinion. He's like, no, my back, I'm done. I'm done.
And then
you're like, you can't argue with a kid saying his back hurts, you know, that's the like one thing. You're like, your shoulder, whatever. You're like, a back, of course.
I remember when I showed up in 2020, Angelo was like, worked out an hour a day, but he was a firefighter, a realtor. He had a car detailing business. He had advertisements posted all over the gym. 18 different jobs. Like, what does this guy actually
Resume
do?
man.
Fill that free time, buddy.
Do you still have the car detailing business?
What?
Do you still have the car detailing business?
Actually, we were talking about that yesterday. I can't disclose any information about it right now.
I'm not at liberty to say.
Can't say anything about it I can't say anything about it in public, but no, I don't. As far as you know.
Got it.
I don't even know what that means.
I could read between the lines, I think.
Oh man.
And then actually now Gus says you're coming to talk to his class, man.
Oh, are you going back to Prescott?
No, I need to text her back about that.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
this is awkward.
I am. This is awkward.
What class is it?
Like
I don't
career
You're doing like a
development
fire
type
science?
thing. Yeah.
Like you're going to be Fireman Bruce?
Right. Yeah, no. She asked me to go. It's like
one of your old teachers?
Yeah, one of my old teachers asked me to go to like talk about my career as a firefighter and doing CrossFit. So, yeah, I guess
you're gonna punk her. Is that what you're saying?
No, I need to text her back. I forgot.
You're not at liberty to say.
She texted me while we were in Texas, and like I just
was Fireman Bruce around when you were a kid? Did he come around?
Yeah.
Oh man, did I ever tell you my first interaction with Fireman Bruce at the fire station?
No.
I mean, Fireman Bruce is a legend around here.
Maybe
like,
you did, yeah.
He was the like
mascot.
Well, no, he was the guy that came around, told you stop, drop, and roll. The whole like change smoke detectors, just fire science guy. Awesome, like incredible. My first shift, he walks up smoking a cigarette. You'd have thought, like, it just blew my... Not that, I mean, he's a normal dude, but he's smoking a cigarette. I'm like, Fireman... I'm 19, 20 years old, 18 at the time, but I'm like, Fireman Bruce smokes?
You know, your whole childhood aura just crumbled around you.
Crumbles around him, but no, man, he was incredible. But yeah, Fireman Bruce. Who's it? Is it Mike? Mike does that now? Who does that now?
No one. There's technically his position isn't filled.
Oh, okay.
They don't have that position. Mike Brown wants his position.
Yeah, Mike Brown did it.
He loves doing it. I actually went to a PR the other day with him. It's awesome going to PRs with him because you don't have to do anything. He loves it. He loves getting to the floor and rolling around with the kids and stuff. And then the teachers think he's a nut. Yeah. But then all I had to do was put my gear on. So I just put my gear on. He did all the talking.
Or something happened. The kids were talking about getting sprayed by the fire truck.
Yeah.
And they're like, will Angelo do it? And I'm like, I'll make sure next time you guys are doing it at school, I'll have Angelo there. I remember those days just blasting kids.
Oh,
they like run up and are like making faces with them. You just deck gun right at them.
We did it. We sprayed them at Capshaw the other day, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so Trice was talking. I was like, they're already spraying kids? I mean, it was hot last week.
Yeah.
Usually it's like an end of the year thing.
Yeah.
We're
I don't know what.
3 weeks into school.
So I think.
Because Trice was like, yeah, they were getting sprayed by the firefighters. And I'm.
I think the only reason we did that is one of the guy's daughters is in that class, and he set it up.
Oh, okay.
So
is it Womack? No, because his kids don't
it's a new guy.
anymore.
No, it's a new guy. So we sprayed some kids the other day, which is cool because I remember getting sprayed on that playground, and like as much as sometimes
last year,
yeah. I was in 3rd grade, and it was the only time for some reason it was the only time that I ever actually got sprayed by the fire truck, and I freaking loved it.
Yeah, we only did it in like 5th grade, I think, at Prescott.
Yeah, it was like end of the year, like. If you got good grades, you got to go get sprayed by the fire truck.
God bless Tennessee.
These guys love this story.
Did you not do that, Ben?
Dude, I never got sprayed by a fire truck.
I have never heard this my entire life.
What?
Oh,
or
really?
Fireman Bruce. And I was born here.
You never heard of Fireman Bruce?
No, I've never heard of this guy.
Wow.
Maybe I was absent that day.
And you never
he came all the time. I mean, you never got sprayed by the fire truck?
Dude, I never even saw a fire truck ever come to school. I swear.
Scott, you
my
know
whole
either?
13 years of school.
In fairness, Ben
Scott's
probably
from
didn't even know stop, drop, and roll.
We don't do this in Michigan.
Ben, you didn't show up to how many truancy years did you have though?
What does that mean?
Like you didn't show. Like you got
in trouble by a truancy officer because you never showed up.
Sophomore year, I think. But
most of Ben's interactions were with police.
They're empty threats.
Yeah, they didn't have firefighters for Ben. They had policemen for Ben.
They did something.
Fireman Bruce doesn't ring a bell, but old Chief Rogers.
At the high school one year, they did something where the fire department came and they did some kind of like event or something.
Yeah, well, we do that. I think we.
But
did
everybody
a
used it as an
fair
excuse to leave early. Everybody just left.
Yeah.
We're not going to be learning today.
Everyone had to
so.
go to it.
Yeah.
We do CPR at the beginning of the year, like we did it.
Oh, I remember
last
taking
week.
that class. I got CPR certified.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought whenever everyone was getting CPR certified in high school, I was like, holy crap, like that's a big deal. Not a big
Not
deal.
that big of a deal.
Almost everybody with a beating heart.
Just do chest
CPR
compressions. Just do
certified
chest
this year.
compressions, man.
Just that song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can bring up YouTube nowadays. You know what I mean? Like,
Baby Shark.
I was petrified.
what am I supposed to do here?
Office episode.
I hope not.
Staying alive.
Yeah, getting sprayed by the fire truck was like my favorite thing
was
ever.
awesome.
And then now, I wouldn't say I hate doing it, but like when it's 85 or 90 degrees out and you're standing there and you're like,
With the deck gun.
yeah, and they're all getting sprayed, you're just sweating. You're like, all right, this isn't as fun as I
In
remember.
your helmet
it.
and gloves.
Yeah.
Helmet and gloves.
I was driving the day we did it, so
okay,
I didn't
lucky.
have to
So
do
you're
that
just sitting by
crap.
the pump.
Those guys are holding the hose. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Cool.
Good.
I'm gonna hang out here in the shade.
I'll be in the AC.
Yeah. Let me know if you need me.
2 is 1 and 1 is none. The Airwave Mayhem Hybrid Pack gives you 1 HIIT mouthpiece and 1 endurance mouthpiece in our traditional Mayhem Blue, so you're covered no matter the sport. 1 innovative technology, 2 performance-driven designs. For podcast listeners only, get the Mayhem Hybrid Pack 15% off at www.airwave.com/Froning.
Well, maybe to marry some stuff together. Like Ben's still red faced from this morning. I watched those guys come in huffing and puffing, and we're talking about hunting season.
Elk hunting training.
Yeah, that's the thing that's coming down the pipe, right?
Yeah, we're working on it. We've been kind of talking about some things. That's where our passion is. What we're wanting to do is do some outdoors type stuff. So Angelo, I think the plan is to launch some kind of ebook type things, like couch to getting ready for the mountain, more like what they were doing this morning, and then Angelo is kind of like 30 elk or 30 whitetail camp type workouts. You come in the middle of the day, want to do something with, either a vest or a kettlebell and dumbbell, and then go back out in the woods. There's kind of a middle day lull. So that's a game plan right now, but there's going to be a ton of content.
I think people will love it.
Yeah, it's
even if
fun.
you're not into hunting, I bet, like for outdoor athletes and things like that.
Yeah, I think
like
it's, like this morning, just to get going, I did a 25-minute AMRAP of 20 cal echo bike, some high box lateral step ups. We talked about, when you get out in the woods and you get up on some of these elk trails, these elk go through just some of this nasty
Stepping over
what
big
we call
trees.
blow down or deadfall. And you've got to step up and over stuff. So, like a 26-inch high lateral step up and then carry a sandbag. So I did that this morning. But we kind of have a text thread where we just share kind of workouts to just grind for 40 minutes. Like yesterday I did 10 minutes on the stair stepper, which has been a cool kind of fun twist on what we do. So 10 minutes on stair stepper, basically 20 minutes of strict Cindy, and then 10 minutes on the stair stepper, all with a 20-pound vest. I did lunges instead of squats because my legs were trashed yesterday. So I did 10 lunge walk steps. But it's been fun to just, kind of limited warm-up type stuff. You just kind of hop right into grunt work. It plays well off of the Everyday Hero, but I think we fine-tune it a little bit more. We've talked about starting a Mayhem Hunt track on Sugarwood, having the experience of being out there, knowing kind of what to prepare for, and then also having the background of exercise science and what we do, and it transfers perfectly into what we do.
I think, you were saying, like you were drawing the comparison the other day, is like there's people like Cam, he runs his butt off, but like it just seems like he just runs, right? And so like I don't
have 4 hours. I'm not going to go run a marathon every day, and if you can and you have the time, that's what you want to do. It'll prepare you really well, running mountains and doing all those things. But I think what we've kind of figured out is, you need to be able to grind and just kind of just walk. That's a big thing. But then there's usually about 20-minute just hard efforts randomly throughout the day. Your heart rate's going to get up to 150, 160 on the high end, probably about 140. Your calves are going to burn, your quads are going to burn. So if we can prepare people for that,
and if you're lucky, you're going to be hauling a load.
It's been fun.
At the end of the day, too.
Angelo has we're going to call it pack out. It's a workout we're going to call it. We're going to get in the stair stepper. You're going to put like 60 pounds on your back and just do 3 minutes?
I was saying 7 minutes on, 3 minutes off for an hour.
I think the best thing for pack out would be on the belt squat.
Belt squat.
Because if you do I don't know what it's called, but you just do steps on the belt squat.
Get the hip burn.
How you feel in your hips is exactly.
I think if we light up, if we load down those sportsman packs or in
and
a
you
ruck,
tie it around your hips,
and I think you
put
get
the weight on your hip.
That weight on your hip and do the stair stepper. It'll slow. I think it'll. I don't know.
We'll try.
The steps would have to be like half the size.
We'll let you guys
almost.
know. But yeah, it's true because you can't take big steps when you have that big of a load.
That was the closest thing I've ever felt was the weighted steps to packing out that out.
I wouldn't want to be on that thing for an hour. The belt squat for an hour.
Dude, that whole just 7 days plus that culmination of the last, 2 hours, 3 hours, is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like the emotional roller coaster of, yes, we're going to get something. No, we're not. Walking home at night that late, just getting up early at altitude, the emotional, going to get something, not going to get something, going to get something, not get something. And then having
nutrition,
to walk back.
hydration, anything but dialed in.
Yep. And then think you miss, killed something, carry that thing out. All of that in its entirety is the hardest thing I've ever done.
I would say it's not the hardest thing I've ever done. It's not nearly as hard, obviously. But when I was hunting the rut last year, I went pretty much 7 to 10 days of I would hunt in the morning. I would take a break in the middle of the day. I would hunt the evening every single day. I think it rained one day or a day and a half in there. I hunted every morning and every evening that I could. And so it's the same idea. It was and it's freezing. It was freezing cold too.
Yeah, that's a different type. I can't. I would rather walk my balls off than sit in a tree stand and freeze my balls off.
Do you think this year will be a lot easier than?
I don't know if it'll be a lot easier. It's just going to be a different stimulus, I think. Like even when I killed that cow, it was a completely different style, and it was easier for sure. But I mean, even like throwing those hams on my back and just carrying them over my shoulder, but up and over that deadfall and all that was still pretty dang hard. You got to be prepared, and here's the deal is the more you prepare to go into the woods, you're almost like, I feel like we'll be over prepared, and it just sets you up for more success, and you have a better, like we've talked about doing some high heart rate shooting. Luckily here, where it's been 95 degrees, your heart rate gets high walking to get the arrows. Yeah. And so like, I've even noticed like having to like catch my breath just because it's 95 degrees outside. So, that's the plan is, and we've taken this approach in everything that we do for the CrossFit Games for 13 years, 14 years, to be over-prepared. For Leadville, I feel like I was over-prepared. And then for elk season the last couple of years, like, we've got me, Scott, Father Stephen, Curtis hike our butts off morning to night. Tyler last year, TJ last year. And we've had a couple that have come into the group and then left the group after a day or two because you're not ready. And, we've talked about the infamous Matt Billings story, but you've got to be ready because, and here's the deal is I don't want to say that you have to be like us to go do that. Like you could, in 8 weeks, you could get yourself very well prepared having a limited capacity to start. So
you might do better if you had half the fitness because you'd still be able to walk places, but you might sit still a little more.
Yeah, because that's our problem is the sitting still is the bad part for us.
Yeah, I know the time that I went out there, I didn't hike nearly as much as you guys did, but it almost feels as though the more ground you cover, the more opportunities you're going to have. Mm-hmm. And so that makes you want to hike more. And even if, like Scott said, sometimes it may not be the best thing, you want to keep moving because you're like, man, that place over there looks so good. We got to get over there. And
then we've come to terms with like, all right, maybe it is okay to sit sometimes, like sit over a wallow depending on the weather. We've learned a lot over the years and it's just it's so hard to balance the like, all right, how far do we go to get away from people? Mm-hmm. And then when is the best time to sit? And then middle of the day, do we sit or do we try to like, because we've had run-ins and have had situations that you weren't there for that one, but that we could have killed a bull while walking. And then last year, middle of the day, we killed one because we were sitting. So, man, there's so much that goes into it. Yeah. And we've learned a lot. We've screwed up a lot, but I think we've learned a lot over the last couple of years. So I'm just looking forward to and to continue to learn. But what I'm saying, to say all that is the more prepared you can be physically from fitness-wise to shooting-wise, the better off you're going to be.
This is almost corny, but like you could almost come up with a product line as well. If you think about all the, a pack is obviously a fantastic way to like replicate that, but obviously when you're packing out meat, it's like off kilter, and it's a weird thing. But
like a slosh pipe almost. You can put a slosh pipe in
Kodiak when we took those deer. You're in bear country, and so all you have time to do is like a very quick field dressing, gut the animal, and then it was a man on each antler, and you had to drag it. And it's all tundra grass, up and down, undulating like cliffs and whatnot. So you had to like pick your trail.
Balance is a big thing too. So
dude, it was so hard.
Dragging is hard.
Like last year, like Scott's fallen off a couple logs. I've fallen in a couple holes. Like it just is what it is. And then like last year I had that shoulder thing. So anytime I would fall, I wouldn't even put an arm out. I was just straight head over heels. That was the worst part about last year's, because if you're off like this side, if I would fall, I'd like catch myself and go. But if it was this side, I was just like timber, like full on just down. So, I mean, to have the balance side of things, just getting one of those, either a Bosu ball or anything like that, and getting the heart rate up and then trying to balance a little bit. And so, there's just things that we've learned over the course of the year.
The other year when I went, it was the last day. I was frustrated. Everyone's frustrated.
Frustration doesn't happen in the woods.
And we had stopped for a break. It was me, Marlon, and TJ, I believe. We had stopped for a break. Star-studded crew.
You guys were what, about 400 yards from camp?
The 18.
We had stopped for a break.
And in our defense, in your defense, a mule deer just walked right through camp.
Yeah.
Like there's thousands of acres this thing could have walked through, and apparently it just walked, and we couldn't hunt mule deer, but it walked right through Main Street of our camp. Like we had a couple trailers and trucks and stuff, and it walked right through camp.
Yep.
Which is your elbow that just cracked?
Yeah. I have to
both
every
of
once
my
in a while.
elbows. Yeah.
Oh man,
both of my elbows are going.
CrossFit's healthy.
I step over this huge, like he's saying, I step over this huge log, and I have my bow in this hand, I believe. I lose my balance, and this hand falls, however it happens, and my thumb jabs my 30 pin and breaks it. And we had just gotten up from a break, and I'm like losing my mind. I'm about to break the bow over my knee, and I said, I'm going to take another break. And we had just gotten up, and I sat back down and just sat there because I wanted to scream. I was like, I'm just going to chill for a second.
I'm going to stop.
Cool. So that'll roll out, like, anyways, the actual training stuff probably
spring of next year. I mean, if you pay attention to our YouTube channel, YouTube videos, they'll have some of those workouts in there.
I think I can get us an ebook for Whitetail Camp by Whitetail Season.
There we go.
In a month?
Yeah, I think it's good. All right, Angelo. There it
I
is.
can get us a 30 workout ebook.
Here it comes.
Use code Angelo.
Make sure you use that code.
Okay, I don't want this one to be an afterthought, but obviously Maui went through a huge tragedy recently. We got friends there, China Cho.
China and Freddie.
Good news, we sold 500 of the shirts, the Frey shirts for Maui.
Yep, and then there's the workout, Maui Strong. I don't think we have posted that yet, but we're going to try to.
Didn't China make that workout?
Yeah.
Like 80 double unders.
It's like 808 meters rowing. Let me find it. We got to do it. And we'll video it. But I got a text thread with everybody. We'll get it out. I haven't done it yet, but we were all talking about doing it.
I remember the workout looked horrible.
Yeah, it was all China, but of course, as it should be, like, to be thinking. So it's 808 meter row, 80 double unders, 80 air squats, 80 alternating dumbbell snatches, 80 air squats, 80 double unders, 808 row. And so I don't know if we did the
significance being the 808 area code.
Yeah, area code. And then she talked about having, an 800-meter run and doing jumping jacks and push-ups if they have no equipment. So we'll post that. I know Mayhem Athlete was going to use it as affiliate workouts and try to raise some money through that. But thank you to anybody who bought some shirts. And then also the Leadville shirts. We sold quite a few of those, too.
200.
So it's pretty cool.
200 of the Move Mountain shirts. Be honest. What do you love and what do you hate? This is the new Froning.
I like it. Obviously the boot comes back. The kind of slip on. Angela's been wearing them a bunch. I still am so privy to the Froning X1. But I like this a lot and will be my next shoe once those are all dead and gone. Angela's been wearing it a lot. I like it. It is solid. It's very solid, very good on rope climbs. I'm the one thing, and it might take a little bit of working it in. I just like a freer sole on the shoe, but other than that, I love it. It's a solid shoe.
Like the perfect marriage would be this upper with the X1 sole.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Okay. I like it.
Respectfully.
You don't have to respectfully disagree. You can just disagree.
He's only half a beer deep.
Yeah. I will fight you.
So, I'm partial to the X1. I think it's my favorite shoe ever.
The X1 is.
The X1 is my favorite training shoe ever.
I literally wore the X1 all the way until the final approach of the Grand Teton.
Did you?
Like I wear it for everything.
Nice. I'm telling you, I love that shoe.
So,
I bought some on Amazon so much that I love them.
I think this, well, obviously your shoe is like a ski compared to mine. It's a little wider up here, which I like. This is not quite as, this isn't as firm as this. I think I like that a little bit. The sole of it feels wider to me. Maybe I just haven't broken it in yet. So I took the insole out, and I like it more with the insole out.
You have to go half size down if you do that. That's what I do with all my shoes.
I did not go half size down. I'm not having any issue with it.
All right. We disagree again.
I like the little trapper keeper. Because on the X1, like my laces are all over the place, and especially
on
the
that
rope,
button too on the GHD. Some people randomly it would hurt, and sometimes I wouldn't even.
Yeah,
feel
sometimes you can move it around pretty fine. It doesn't bother me if I move it right.
I screw them up on rope climbs, and I know it's a me problem, and like literally these shoes will fall off for me on a rope climb.
Really? Because you'll just work it off yourself.
I like the '90s feel on these though.
Yeah,
they feel very '90s retro-y. So I like
almost like a shack.
Yep. The bottom of the shoe, I prefer this bottom. This grips the rope better, and
for people that are only listening, you're talking about the new one.
Yeah, the new one. Sorry, the new shoes. The bottom, the X3 bottom, lasts longer for me. I'm really hard on shoes when I rope climb. Like I think it's more of how fast I come down. Burns the X1. Yeah, let me see that. Burns the sole of the X1. The X3 does not get as burnt for me. So the Nano X3, which I do not like, has this bottom, which I do like. So this shoe overall is probably, I wouldn't say the second place shoe compared to this, but this will be the shoe that I wear once I run out of these, which may not happen anytime soon. I
don't know,
plenty.
Bro. I smell that one from here.
I have plenty of these. But yeah, I think I actually talked to a couple people on Instagram. A lot of people were asking me what I think about the shoes, like compared. This is better than this shoe, in my opinion. But this shoe,
X1 better than
X1 better than the X3, in my opinion. The X3 is a good shoe and will be my next shoe when I run out of the X1. So if you want this shoe,
and you can't get the X1 anymore,
and you cannot get the X1, this is the shoe I for sure would buy. Even if you like your X1s and you're wearing them still like I am, take this, harbor it, put it away in a safe place, and no one will steal it, and then just transition to it when you have to when this shoe wears out, because you're going to be a lot happier in this shoe than you're gonna be a lot happier than X3 when you run out of X1s.
Yeah.
If you like the X1s, opposed to any other training shoe.
And the X1s, they take a long time to like kind of beat in a little bit.
Yeah.
You notice that?
When
Like when I take one out of the box,
The X1s?
when I take them out of the box,
Really?
I'm like,
So the
wow, this thing
X1
is stiff.
The X1 for me is like go ready
A
as soon
sock.
as I put it on. I love it.
The
X3, I feel like I have to break it in a little bit more.
the first pair I
Scott's
had.
itching.
The first thing I ever did in the X3 was in Arizona, a mile run, 2K row, mile run. My feet were fine.
Really?
And the next day I did a heavy triple back squat and them feet were still fine. So they passed.
It's your shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Well,
First-
it's Rich's shoe, but it's my shoe.
I mean, but as your go-to,
You're-
I mean, it's your go-to?
Well, I don't have any X1s. So yeah. It is
Oh,
my
you're
go-to.
fresh out.
Fresh out.
Fresh out.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
I hate to hear
I'm on
that.
my last pair, man.
Oh, I hate to hear it.
I found the last 9.5s or 10s on. I shoved my foot into a 9.5 just to extend the.
I have 3 pair at home.
You son of.
I might
One pair
have some
I'm
good
never
news
gonna
for you.
wear, though.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you about it later.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Real quick, promos. So for Mayhem Athlete, September we start the M30 Hard Challenge.
M30 hard.
It's basically, interesting. These are notes from Jake. It's a shortened version of 75 Hard for
Oh, of course, Jake would. Oh man.
M30. So the challenge is to complete 2 30-minute workouts. At least one has to be outside. Let's see. Since they got to be 30 minutes because M30 is a 30-minute guarantee. Encouraging the outdoor workout. Drink 2/3 of your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, drink 133 ounces of water. Read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. Consume 0 alcohol the entire 30 days. Choose any diet and stick with it. No cheat meals. Take a daily progress picture.
I'm
Well,
fine with
I
everything
can't start
on
today.
there.
I had to
I'm
drink a
fine
beer.
with everything on there minus the take a picture of your selfie picture of yourself. Gosh.
It's
Gross.
I found it compelling. I found it compelling when I did it, but I did also like I've said this before, but like 75 Hard, they have an app, and the only reason to buy the app is because you can take those pictures and they stay off your camera roll. Because there's nothing creepier than when you're like,
Yeah.
You
hey,
could-
bro,
I-
let me show
I'm-
this picture of my kids, and like you scroll through.
Honestly,
like
I'm fine with
75
your
pictures.
underwear.
a day 1 and a day 30.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have done
Just gives me like gym
versions.
bro vibes.
Yeah,
You know,
I've
like,
done versions of the 75 Hard, and I always skip the picture thing. It's
You didn't
not
tell
for
us
me.
about it though. So did you
Yeah,
really
I
do
think
it?
that's a whole other argument for me. I
I'm just
think
kidding.
there's actually you can yeah, sure, I'll talk about it. There's actually science that backs up if you talk about a goal that you have, then it gives you the dopamine release of reaching that goal a little bit. So the more you talk about it, the more you water it down and the less likely you are to reach the goal. So because you'll feel, if I tell you, hey, I'm going to do 75 hard, and I'm 10 days in, I'm 15, 20 days in, whatever, you start to use a little bit of that dopamine, and then now it's like the goal is watered down, and it's like you kind of feel like you already had the goal. So
I heard that also with training for stuff. That's why I don't talk or do any training for the Ironman.
Or
just
BCS.
Just gonna walk right into it. Yeah, or BCS.
yeah,
All right, we're also going to enter the Nerves of Steel 12-week cycle. A big focus on raw strength and the squatting, deadlifting, and pressing, and some only positional work. You're going to incorporate aerobic
Mayhem
work.
Burgener strength. Yep.
Mayhem Burgener strength. Start priming the engine for next year, and incorporate Mayhem gymnastics with ring complexes and handstand push-up work, just in case there's some volume in the handstand push-ups next year at the games.
Probably not.
And still doing some Mayhem style CrossFit each week to keep getting fitter, keep having fun.
Nerves
So
of
Mayhem
Steel.
Athlete. Nerves of Steel.
All
is
right.
this colorway
Fall.
out?
Good fall block of training coming up.
And then I guess I'll just give a quick shout out to old Tyler, 8th place currently. So if there's a couple in the queue for the Rogue Invitational, so hoping that 3 people don't want to go
Or can't. Or
can't.
Their videos aren't any good.
or they got something else going on. Yeah. But yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Very
Tyler
good.
did a really good job. Last night came in and redid one of the workouts and huge improvement.
Yeah,
So,
really helped this placing.
cool. All right. Anything else, boys, we need to talk about?
When's this shoe come out? Do you know?
It's already
It's out. Yeah, it's out.
He said
Yeah,
this
you
one
can-
isn't.
Oh, that one's
Oh,
not.
sorry. Yeah, the brown colorway you can't purchase yet, but the
The black one you can.
yeah, go get it.
Jump on it.
Peace.